Right, people, welcome back to the YouTube. As you've seen by the title of the video, and we're in a different setting, we've got a different type of video today. Today will be a tier list video. I thought I'd venture out into a different type of content just to see how it goes, see if you guys like it. So as you've seen by the title, today we will be ranking the worst genetics you can get in the gym. So the lowest tier is lucky man, being if you have this genetic, you're lucky. It's a good genetic. The next one up is nice, which is like, yeah, it's a pretty good genetic. The mid tier is meh. It's like, it's not bad, but it's not good. The second to top tier is big disadvantage, which is like, you know, you're pretty cooked. And then the top one is will never. You're cooked. You're never going to make it. You're not going to be aesthetic if you have this genetic. But without further ado, let's get straight into the video. And as always, comment down below your thoughts on every single ranking. And if you like this type of video, let's go. Now, the first genetic on the tier list is the small chest insertion. Now, we see this in people like Tristan Lee online. And, you know, I have a bit of a case of this, like a bad chest insertion where you've got quite a big gap in the middle of your chest. It's not horrible, but it is kind of annoying. So I'm going to put small chest insertions in the meh tier. It's not going to cook you, but it's not great either. It's definitely not good, but it's not horrible. So I think mid tier is good. A way to get over this genetic is to just simply build a bigger chest and it will cover it up. But obviously when you've got a smaller chest and you're a bit under muscled, you are going to notice that it is going to make quite a difference. Now, the next genetic we've got is long biceps. Now, this is it's a bit of a weird one here because some people like long biceps and some people don't. Now, I think personally, I think somewhere in the middle is perfect because a long bicep, yes, you're not going to look like some of your arm is just missing, but it is going to take a long time to fill out your arm. And you're going to naturally have less of a peak on your arm. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in meh again because it's got its advantages, but it's also got its negatives and its disadvantages. So I'd just put that in meh tier. It's not good. It's not bad. It's going to make your arm look fuller, but you're not going to have quite as big of a peak. And it's going to take a lot longer for you to fill out your arm and actually put on size to it. So long biceps in meh tier. Then being short. I apply to this one. And being short, I'm going to put that in nice tier. Now, being short, obviously, it comes with the disadvantages like you're a short king. You're gonna get bitched around. You're gonna look like a little bit of a short twat. But in bodybuilding and in the gym, it's nice. Being shorter pretty much just means that you don't have as much space on your frame to pack on size. So you have to pack on less muscle to have a muscular look. So when you're taller, you're going to have to put on more size to be able to actually fill out your frame. So being short for gym and aesthetics, I'm going to put that in nice tier. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good to have. And then the opposite, being tall, I'm going to put that in big disadvantage. It's going to take a lot longer to fill your frame. Sure, you might be more aesthetic from a tall or a height perspective, but if we're talking about the gym, it's going to be quite a bit harder to fill out your frame when you are very, very tall. So being tall, big disadvantage. Being short, nice. Now, small calves. It's a pretty hot topic and it's a controversial one. I think small calves are a big disadvantage. Now, if we're talking about bodybuilding and competing, small calves could be considered a will never because calves are quite important, but they're not overly important. But for aesthetics, nobody really cares about calves. Like if you have a good physique, but you've got really small calves, you might get bullied for saying, oh, but he has small calves. You know, you don't train legs. But it's a disadvantage but it's not horrible, but it's not like in the middle. So small calves, big disadvantage. Now small wrists, I'm going to put in big disadvantage as well. Small wrists, they're not really going to affect you, and it doesn't really matter. But like sometimes when you look at someone's wrists, and you're like, why the fuck are your wrists so small? You know, it's a bit aura loss. You know, you just look at your wrists and you're like, well, that just looks a bit fucking stupid, doesn't it? So small wrists is a big disadvantage. Obviously, it's not meh, but it's not horrible though. So big disadvantage for small wrists. Now, bad posture, I'm going to put that in meh tier. Some people would argue it's will never or big disadvantage, but I feel like it's not horrible. And if you're in the gym, if you build up your shoulders and you're doing mobility work, naturally your bad posture is going to be corrected. So it shouldn't be, it's very easy to correct. It is kind of shit, but it's very easy to correct. And it's not horrible, like it's not going to make a huge difference to your physique. So I'm going to put that in meh tier just purely because it's so easy to reverse. Now we've got small ass. Now, controversial one here, I'm going to put this in nice. Now, from a bodybuilding perspective, again, it's probably going to be in big disadvantage or will never. Like glutes are a big part of bodybuilding, but purely from aesthetics and a gym standpoint, having a big ass is kind of weird. So having a small ass is kind of nice, honestly, like, because you sort of just like, sure, you don't have you don't have muscular glutes, but at least you don't have a big ass. Then you're gonna get bullied for having so much junk in the trunk, you know. So I definitely put small ass in nice category. Like, it's definitely not lucky because like, it's kind of weird to have no muscle on your ass, but I'd rather have a small ass than have a big fucking ass and then get bullied for it. So small ass is in nice tier. Now we've got 4-pack. 4-pack I'm going to put in meh tier. Now, a 4-pack, the good thing about it is it's very easy to fill out. It's very easy to reveal. If you have a 4-pack, you're probably going to have a 4-pack year-round, whether you're bulking or cutting. But obviously, having a 4-pack means that you're not going to have a 6-pack, and you can't really show those lower abs. So it's always going to look like you're not fully dieted or fully lean. So a 4-pack is going to go in meshed here because most likely you're always going to have abs, but you're never going to have the 6-pack. And now 6-pack is going to be our first one in the lucky man tier. Now, having a 6-pack is very, very lucky. Obviously, it's going to make your midsection look so aesthetic. Abs are the most important muscle for aesthetics. Like, equally as important as other things. But, yeah, 6-pack, it is lucky. Like, it's not as important as people once make it out to be, but it's very aesthetic. It's very good to have. It's very handy. You're always going to have abs. 6-pack, you're very lucky. Now, a rib flare. I'm not too sure on what this is, but I'm assuming it's just going to make your ribs look flared and stick out and look like your victim weight 24/7. So I'm going to put rib flare in big disadvantage because I feel like it could ruin your aesthetics quite easily. Like, I feel like if you have a rib flare and you take off your top, and then you're looking at your physique and it's like, oh, you got a decent physique. Then you just got this random fucking rib sticking out. Probably not ideal. It's not going to look amazing. But again, it's not horrible. So I'm going to put the rib flare in big disadvantage because it's going to look a bit weird. But it's not the end of the world. Now, narrow clavicles, again, I'm going to follow up in big disadvantage. It is going to be a big disadvantage and possibly a will never for aesthetics, but again, it's quite easily reversible. You're just going to grow your shoulders, right? It's going to take time. It's going to take work. But if you grow your shoulders, you are going to hide it to a certain degree. Like, I have pretty good shoulders, and my shoulders are like kind of wide, but I have really narrow clavicles. But because I built my shoulders up, it sort of covered that up a little bit. So I put narrow clavicles in big disadvantage because it is a negative, but it's not horrible. Now, being big but strong, if we're ranking this off aesthetics, I think this is going to be our first will never. Now, it's a controversial one because if you're weak, it's gonna, it's not tough. You don't want to be weak. But if you're weak with a good physique, no one really knows what you lift, so it's not going to be a huge problem. But if you're constantly obese 24/7, but you're strong, no one cares. You're obese, It doesn't really matter how much you lift. Your aesthetics are not going to be there. You're not going to look good. So I'm going to put that in will never. Now, if you're big, but you cut down and you look muscular because you're strong and you've got muscle mass, but you've got lean, then that's a good thing. But if we're just talking about someone who's fat but strong, if we're basing this off aesthetics, it's not good. You're not going to look good because you're still fat. No one cares how much you lift. So big but strong is in will never. Now, saggy triceps, I'm going to put in big disadvantage. Now, I feel like it depends on what type of saggy triceps are we talking. Are we talking about saggy triceps like you've got muscular triceps, but you've just got a lot of fat you hold that sags there? And in that case, that's fine to a degree because you're just going to get lean and that's eventually going to go away and tighten up. But if your muscles just sag there and you just don't have any definition, then that could possibly be in will never. But just because we're sort of basing that off both of those things, saggy triceps are in big disadvantage. It does kind of make you look like a female because it is a female trait. It doesn't look great, so it is a big disadvantage for aesthetics. Now we've got high lat insertions. Now this is it's like the bicep one again. It can be good, but it can also be bad. So again, I'm going to go meh for high lat insertions because high lat insertions are going to make you look like you've got quite a bit of width. But because your lats insert so high, you're not going to be able to get that big, muscular, full gorilla back look because your lats just aren't going to come down enough to give that full physique. But it's going to make it a lot easier to get a V-taper because if you've got high lat insertions, you've got less surface area to cover. So it's going to be easier to fill those lats and give a V-taper, but it's going to stop you from getting a really big back. So high lat insertions are in meh. Now, short torso, if we're going from an aesthetic standpoint, it's going to be in big disadvantage because that sort of goes hand in hand with the 4-pack because a long torso with a nice 6-pack is going to give you a really nice, long, shredded look to your abdominals and your physique. But when you've got a short, boxy torso, no one likes boxy torsos. It's going to make you look wide in the stomach. You're probably not going to have a 6-pack. It's not going to look very good, and it's not going to be very aesthetic. So simple as that. Big disadvantage. Now, wide waist. I'm going to put this in will never. The waist, the size of your waist, we see it in bodybuilders today, like Nick Walker, and how much stick he gets for having a big, puffy, blocky GH waist and gut. And, it's just terrible for aesthetics. It's going to look like you've went on a dreamer bulk like Mike Israetel, and your gut's just gone so far and you can't bring it back in. So for aesthetics, it's going to be horrible. It's going to take away from the V-taper. You're probably not going to have very good abdominals. You're probably going to be fat if you have a wide waist. So for aesthetics, that is a really bad genetic. Wide waist is a terrible genetic. Now, bad metabolism. I'm going to put this one in meh. And now I'm also going to put fast metabolism in meh as well, automatically. So, see, the thing with the metabolisms it's a bit of a myth, right? No one really has a fast or a slow metabolism. Sure, you're going to have a baseline body fat of different levels, and it's going to be easier for some people to put on body fat. But at the end of the day, say if it is a thing and you do have a fast metabolism or a slow metabolism, sure, it can make it harder to do things, but you've simply just got to work around it. It's so easy to work around it, so I don't think it's going to be limiting you much. It is just going to be an annoying genetic or trait to have, so in that case, I'm going to put it in the meh tier. Now, low test, will never, 110%. What do you think every steroid cycle has test in it? It's because test is the fundamental. Now, if you have low test and you're a soy boy and a corn bowl, like, it's just going to fuck you over physique-wise. It's going to make you harder to build muscle, harder to lose fat. You're going to have less drive, less motivation, less masculine features. For aesthetics and in the gym and bodybuilding purposes, low test is bad. I'm going to put that in S+. That is probably the worst one. You don't want low test. If you've got low test, go get your blood work done, get it checked, and possibly hop on some TRT. But that is pretty bad. That is definitely will never. And now, the last one, the final one, short biceps. Same with the long biceps, but I'm going to put this one in the nice tier because it depends how short the bicep is. If it's 2/3 or like 1/3, if it's 1/3, you're cooked. That could be in meh or big disadvantage. But if it's 2/3 and it's shorter than a regular bicep, you could argue that that's really good because, again, it's going to take less time to fill out and you're going to have naturally a bigger peak. So I think short biceps for the most part, like Arnold Schwarzenegger had, you're going to put that in nice tier. It's a pretty good genetic to have. Biceps are undoubtedly one of the most aesthetic muscles, probably not as much in recent years after people have realized that they're not overly important, but still, for the most part, I think short biceps are pretty good. You're going to be able to fill out your arms. You're going to look bigger in T-shirts. And as long as they're not too short, you're going to have a good peak and you're going to look like you have pretty big arms. And that is the tier list of ranking the worst genetics in the gym. Some really bad ones on here, like a wide waist and low test. And obviously, only the one really good one, which is six-pack. And the moral of the story is with this, and you can see a lot of the things are in the middle of the range. And it's because if you have bad genetics, it is a setback, but it's not a stopper. You've just got to put in the work and work around that, okay? Now, it is a setback. It is going to take more time, but you've just got to work around it. If you have high lat insertions, you're just going to have to build up your back. If you've got short, long biceps, you're just going to have to work more time to fill out your arms. If you're tall, you're just going to have to take longer to fill out your frame. If you've got narrow clavicles, you're just going to have to build up your shoulders. You know, it's a setback, but it's not stopping you. You're just going to have to put in the work. And that's the moral of the story. Put in the work around the genetics. There's no point complaining because you can't really fix it. You've just got to work around it and put in the work and still get the physique you want to get. It's just going to take a little bit more time. But let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this tier list. Let me know if you would have anything in any other spots. Like this video and subscribe and comment down below if you enjoyed this type of video. If you want to see more tier lists and what type of tier list you want to see next. Also comment down below any ideas or content ideas or literally anything for this upcoming UK trip because it's only 3 weeks away. Already planned some sick content. It's going to be a great trip and I really want to make the best content possible for you guys. So drop down below any ideas or thoughts or anything you want me to go see or try or film. Just drop it down in the comments. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know how it was. Let me know what other tier lists you want to do. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Callum Shreds out.